hallucinations. And this time I really do mean hallucinations. It is now 1:30 a.m. local time, but here I am casting away. That is how much I love you guys. Got to turn out the new content, even at the sacrifice of sleep. Today, it is Jean-Lu versus Orion Pax. Fairly closely ranked, 14 to 1200. Although that is 1v1 rank, so both players are a little higher than that global. It is a Cybern versus UEF, and usually when you see this matchup, it is Spam versus Tech. We'll have to see how this unfolds. The map is, I can't even pronounce that. Niflheim Final 2. I have played this map a couple of times. Really interesting map. It has some good reclaim next to your base. You can tech early if you wish. There are many paths in and around the center, and then these ledges up high. They do make for good run-bys. If you do not control them, units will get by you on them. And it is basically a direct outlet into the rear of your base. So if you are distracted in the center, things end badly. That is all I really need to say about that. I think you can get the picture here. Jean-Lu is the Cybern player going first and second land. And that was a mistake. Yes, first and second land. You can see already picking up the reclaim here. 47 mass and ticking away steadily. Orion Pax, manual reclaim of these rocks over here, pushing him past 500 reclaim early in the game. He is going first land, second air. And up here at the front, you can see he is pushing two Tech 1 tanks up. Mantis are notorious for their run-bys. Always a good strategy as a Cybern is to use your speed to get by the other units and back into the base for raiding purposes. Hopefully these two tanks will deny an attempt to kill that engineer. As you can see, this Mantis was skirting this mechs and then coming down here to see what's going on, and nope, denied. This Mantis over here guarding the Hydro did not get an Engie kill. There was not one there to deny. But Orion is going to send his ACU that direction, so I doubt that Mantis will live very long at all. Air Factory finally up for Jean-Lu. He has got an air scout out. Although at the moment he is slightly behind on interceptor production. These two little tanks back here think they might be able to snag this expansion, but again, faster speed on those Mantis, even though they are slightly weaker than Strikers as far as the numbers go. That superior speed does do them a lot of good. Orion Pax, taking advantage of this ledge here, figures, well, if I can't go that way, I might as well go the other. I foresee a lot of slips of the tongue in my future. Jester getting away slightly scratched. It had the help of these AA right here, but this is not going to end well. Orion Pax, even though he only has 4 interceptors, considering the numbers this early in the game, that is a solid grip on air control. And any Jesters or Bombers produced by Jean-Lu is just going to put him farther behind. 5 tanks and a scout is a really good this isn't really a raiding party. There's too many units for that, but it is a good front, although they are going to be severely outnumbered there. It looks like Jean-Lu is pulling a steady 30 mass. He does have a T2 mass extractor already up and running, as does Orion Pax, but Orion has less map control. So that is putting him a little bit behind as far as steady income goes. But he is slightly ahead on reclaim. Trying to push out some bombers to deny this run by. This is what I was predicting early in the game. If you don't keep enough units on one side or the other, you will get overrun from behind. Orion pulling his ACU over to try and deny this, but they will get that run by successfully. That's going to cost him a hydro, possibly the energy storage up there. He has dropped an engineer on the upper tier. There are 2 mass extractors and a small amount of reclaim, mostly trees, although there are a couple of piles of rocks up here. It is advantageous to grab those. You will be able to push T1 artillery and bombard the enemy bases. This is a happy little jester here. No anti-air, no interceptors, calmly nomming away on tanks until gotcha, interceptors incoming. Orion Pax has decided that wall sections are a good idea. You have a pretty extensive double wall going up in the back of the base, trying to lock off this side. Has started a T2 upgrade on his ACU. T2 land on the field for Jean-Lu. He does have the first rhinos out. Not very many to start off with, but he does need them, considering that Orion Pax is also at tier 2 pushing pillars. I'm not sure that tier 2 was such a good idea on Orion Pax's part. He is severely behind on eco, did not really have the mass to be pushing that. Reclaim, that is the answer, my friends. Reclaim. These engineers up on the sides here, he is running 7,700 reclaim at the moment total, whereas Jean-Lu only has 4,000. So 3,000 more reclaim. That is where he's gotten the mass to push this. The disadvantage being, when you have a map that is as prone to run-bys as this is, just not having as many units will hurt you. That T2 factory costs you tanks. Jean-Lu is dropping an upgrade on his ACU. That is a right arm upgrade, so that's either gun or T2. At this stage of the game, 16 minutes in, I'd have to say he's probably going for tier 2. I don't know why you would be putting gun on something as flimsy as the Cybern ACU this late in the game. Mantis over here picking up this Mex, but just a large body of units for Orion Pax, although he's keeping them pretty close to his base. He could potentially use some of those to run by up here. He has enough to split it in half and overrun this. But choosing to stay put for now. Really doesn't have very much map control, but what he does have, he is just sucking enormous amounts of mass out of this. Completely reclaim supported. Trying to wall off sections and tech. He has gotten a T3 factory and is pushing Percival's. Percival's at 18 minutes on a map this small is kind of an odd sight. But I guess I was correct early on saying that the Cybern versus UEF game would be spam versus tech. And here we are seeing fewer units, but early tech pushes. The only bad thing that I see about this is there are a lot of Mantis still on the field, and those Percivals with the 1600 damage shots once every 4 seconds, that is going to be an absurd. It's going to be wasting about 4/5 of the damage that the Percy is capable of. One other thing that is worrisome to me is Orion Pax's power situation. Jean-Loup is sitting on 2 T2 gens and a bit of a power surplus. I'm not going to say he has overbuilt power, but he does have plenty of it. Whereas Orion Pax, he is floating in his storage, but I don't know. We'll have to see. His number's still pushing up. 16,000 reclaim. Over twice the reclaim that Jean-Loup has pulled in, and most of it is from his outside engineers. Why tech a mechs? Why tech a mechs when you can reclaim and get more mass? Orion Pax keeping his units bunched up here so they're a little more effective. Jean-Loup got spread out for a minute there, but looks like he is regrouping pretty effectively. And there are those engineers that are keeping Orion in the game. When you look at his steady income, Jean-Loup has so much more on a steady basis. 71 income, picking up all of these mass extractors all over the map. Just extensive control. T2 gen down. The Mantis were able to get by right here. Between that and the artillery, that has lost. That is going to be a bad power situation when he comes back into reclaim. When you're reclaiming this much, you have to be floating power, because when you get into the mass, you're going to be burning it off very quickly. See how Orion Pax gets that back online. He needs to act quickly. This is a dangerous force up here. T2 comm, point defense locking down the map. Got run-bys on both sides. Percival's also having trouble with those rhinos. Kind of an odd number, 1900 health. It takes 2 shots from a Percival to kill it, but it's overkilling 1100 damage the second shot. Looks like around 30 income still for Orion Pax, same as he was long ago. Whereas Jean-Loup is pulling a solid 67. Only 7,000 reclaim, and Orion Pax still racking up the numbers. Almost 20,000 on that, but as predicted, stalling so hard on power. He only has that one T2 gen and a Hydro. And trying to build this T3 P gen. I think he may actually lose it. He did not have enough units to deny this. There are a couple of bricks in here, and his ACU is out front. This looks hairy. This might be it. Keeping those engineers assisting on that power. Trying to micro to the side. Clean overcharges, killing groups of units. Did pick up a vet on his comm a couple of shots ago. So many small units, and he really only has Percivals. I'm thinking he might have been better building more pillars or even some Titans, just because there's so much spam, but really now he has cleaned a lot of it out. More bricks left. And again, his power storage is going to go down. This little group of Mantis in the back. Probably also going to get the Hydro kill before anything can get up there. Firebase going up for Jean-Lu. He is feeling pretty confident in his position, it looks like. If you're willing to build point defense as a Cybern versus UEF, you have to think you're sitting pretty well. See, Orion packs 25,000 reclaim now. Having to deal with some more run-bys. Only has 52 mass income. Jean-Lu just barely clearing 8. Orion now has 3 times the reclaim. Mostly because of all of this mass dumped in his base. If you dump that much mass on someone's doorstep and do not kill the ACU or the vast majority of his build power, you're gonna be in trouble. Trebuchet's out for Jean-Lu. Such a huge area of effect on that artillery. Just massive damage to build power, any units nearby. Not as much just brute strength damage on that artillery, but as you saw on that, the area of effect is incredible. Now this is funny here. Little Mantis tucked away in this corner. I doubt that was intentional, but I'm sure it will keep that mass extractor denied until it's killed. Mantis do seem to have the potential to get stuck in certain situations, and I believe this is one of them. It has climbed up onto that mountain peak and does not want to come down. Someone call a firefighter, the cat's in the tree again. See, we now have 7 Percivals in the center, but again, this is back to mostly T1 spam. So Percivals are going to be relatively ineffective against a group of units like this. Even considering how weak the Cybern point defense are, attacking that is a bad idea with the ACU sitting there. Orion Pax is going for T3 air. Base is looking pretty sparse at the moment. About to top the 30k reclaim figure. He has got to be planning something else here. Fat boy. That is what he's going to spend all that extra mass on. Just reclaiming away. You can see he's pulling 110 to 160 numbers because of these engineers out in the center. Got all those T3 units to reclaim. Orion Pax doing an excellent job on his reclaim. This is something that I severely lack and something that everyone needs to learn. It seems like the the difference between a 1000 rating player and a 1400 rating player is reclaim. And the more you reclaim, the better. T2 artillery going up for Jean-Lu. The more you reclaim, the more you're able to execute your strategies because you will have more mass. It's basically just roll up a little ways, recycle the reclaim into more units, and then roll up a little further. It's always interesting to watch people play settings in the 2K range. I'm drawing a mental blank on the name of the player that I was about to cite. Crazed Chariot. That's who it was. If you watch a Crazed Chariot replay when he plays Navy, that is basically what he does. He builds enough Navy to overrun a portion of the enemy Navy and hold them back, and then he reclaims it to build a few more units and upgrade some economy, and it's just rinse and repeat. Take a step, reclaim, and grind some more into paste. I have a severe dislike for Cybern T2 artillery. It is incredibly inaccurate and low damage. The area of effect is not nearly as impressive as the T3 mobile is. Just doesn't really pack enough punch to me to be worth building, but I suppose when you have as strong a position as this, where you're in reach of the enemy spawn, just being able to kill off some build power and put pressure on the base here, especially something like this T3 power generator, is going to be huge. Orion Pax up to 44,000 reclaim now. 12,000 on the board for Jean-Lu. Just a little bit more, and Orion Pax will pass 4 times the reclaim. Pillars coming in. That is going to mean that Jean-Lu sees that fat boy. He did not have it scouted before, which is a critical mistake. He has an air factory. He has the potential to be scouting, but he just wasn't. He is going to be able to target that directly with his T2 artillery. So that is probably going to fall pretty quickly. Already landing hits on it. Orion Pax is going to try to throw up some shields, but don't think it's going to be very effective. His reclaim field has run dry. So as far as finishing that fat boy, I don't really see a whole lot of hope for it. Orion Pax looking to be in a world of hurt at the moment. He does have a tough ACU. He has T2 and gun with 4 vet. That gives him about 20 regen. Oh, Monkey Lord. I missed that. That had to have been built right here in that group of engineers. Monkey Lord coming to the rear. Well, all these Percivals are going to deal with it. Orion Pax needed more mass to finish a fat boy, and here it is. Gifted courtesy of Jean-Lu, trying to pull around the back. But the Monkey Lord was scouted, the Percivals dealt with it. But here's a whole another problem. Group of bricks coming down the center, and Orion Pax's ACU is desperately exposed. That is not good. Overcharge killing 2. Down to the red. Overcharge killing 4 for the 5th vet. I can't believe that. Surviving on 5,000 HP against that looked like 7 bricks. That is impressive. Nice little bit of micro and a couple clean overcharges from Orion Pax. Going to be an amazing recovery if he is able to pull anything out of this. That's not good. Wow. 341 health on that P-Gen. And that is basically his entire power income. Up on 50,000 reclaim now to 14 for Jean-Lu. Pushing forward with this group. Now that that spider's gone, Jean-Lu really doesn't have any way to deal with these Percivals. His bricks are gone, overcharged by Orion's ACU. Trying to pull in here, but just overwhelming numbers on this group of Percivals. They will be able to deal with this incredibly quickly. That front-loaded damage on the Percivals is just brutal. T2 gunships in the air. Jean-Lu struggling for air control. Run-bys coming into the rear of the base, although there are point defense, so I think these will be dealt with pretty easily. It's only T1 units. Orion Pax trying to get some more power up, distribute this grid instead of having it all in that one. $70,000 reclaim now. Fighting into that Monkey Lord and also the Fat Boy wreck that he failed to finish. Jean-Lu is trying to get this other spider up before the Percivals hit him. Wow, Orion Pack's actually overflowing mass at this point. He is able to nab a little bit of reclaim, but that spider's going incredibly slowly, and it is scouted by Orion Pax. Only 67 mass income from Jean-Lu. Now he is in danger of losing his base and his ACU. My goodness, the brute strength of the Percival is pretty scary to see. When you start tallying up the 1600 damage per shot that comes out of those things, that is absolutely brutal. Orion Pax, amazing that he actually lived through this group of units. I am very impressed. That was a combination of luck with the timing and a little bit of good micro and a couple of good overcharges, pulling that last vet and surviving that, and then an incredible bit of luck not losing this T3 gen here. That would have put him in total power crash, and then of course after he was able to overcharge everything, Percival's just steamrolling the map like Percivals do. Very well played by both players, playing to their strengths. Orion Pax with a tech, Cybern with the map control and run-bys. Again, just very well played game, but I think that is a pretty good showcase of how Reclaim wins games. 16,000 Reclaim for Jean-Lu, not taking the initiative on the top and bottom, and picking up Reclaim around the map, and then dumping mass into Orion's base. Orion taking the tech option, playing defensively, reclaiming everything that was thrown at him and recycling it into units, and eventually killing Jean-Lu. Alright, that's game, guys. I am about to go to bed. It is 2 a.m. and I have had enough of this day, but I thank you very much for watching, and I promise I will do my best to get out a couple more casts before the weekend is through. Y'all have a good night.